Disagreements between the pro-Russian executive branch and the pro-EU parliamentary branch of the Ukrainian government led to the pro-EU revolt among the people to dethrone the president. The revolution was successful, but this led to counter-revolution of pro-Russian citizens in the southeast that saw the succession of Donetsk, Luhansk, and Crimea with the assistance of the Russian military. Military operations in the Donbass region, the region where Donetsk and Luhansk were located, were not going in Russia's favor. As part of the anti-corruption policy put in place by Russian President Viktor Rasputin, he began putting together a task force. This task force would be led by a man gauged to be uncorrupted, unbiased, and completely loyal to the motherland. This man's name was Guards Captain Yakim Mikhail Borisov. Borisov was personally evaluated by the president and deemed worthy to run the task force with the guidance of former Foreign Intelligence Agent, now Federal Security Service Agent Geller Dmitriev. Guards Captain Borisov, now Colonel, was sent to Ukraine with Dmitriev's group, Task Force 4597, to investigate the primary Russian-Ukrainian Joint Training Center and HQ of the separatist movement to see if equipment was being stolen. With the help of Task Force Homebound, led by GRU Major Yuri Yukov, the exact extent of the crime was uncovered. The Ukrainian military attacked and destroyed the base, but Borisov, Dmitriev, and Yukov escaped. The culprit responsible for giving up the base location and stealing important equipment was captured. Borisov's organization within the FSB, known as the Special Investigation Group, or SSG for short, conducted several more investigations and raids against traitors and foreign influences. It was discovered that the equipment was sold by Russian military members to the black market. The black market would take much of this equipment and sell it to radical Islamists in Chechnya. Many raids later, it was discovered that the equipment was then used to arm either jihadists in Chechnya or were sold to ISIL. The investigation followed the equipment around the Levant, Iraq, Turkey, and Iran. Iran and Turkey were mostly dead ends, but Iraq and Syria bore fruit. The initial investigation looked as if NATO forces may have been using stolen equipment to give to terrorists all over the Middle East. Borisov personally led a raid that resulted in the confirmation of this theory and linked NATO to treacherous operations back in the motherland. Unfortunately, the SSG was left in shambles after the operation. More raids with the help of the rest of the FSB led to the capture of many NATO-controlled agents and rebels in Russia. Their prosecution was expedited within the highest courts in the land. To protect the proceedings, Moscow issued martial law within the city limits. This caused protests and riots that were used by terrorists to get close to the Kremlin. A massive remote-controlled drone strike was launched to start the attack on the Capitol compound by NATO-controlled rebels. This attack resulted in the slaughter of most of the government and the critical injury of Colonel Borisov. But these were just the story beats. If you want to learn more, pick up the book, End of an Era, Borisov's Beginning, on Amazon. Link in the description. There will be further details given on the lore of the book in upcoming videos, as I discussed in, well, previous videos. I hope y'all enjoyed. This has been Trevor Saxon, founding member of Mission Smith Studio. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. Wherever you are, have a good one. MSS out.